Very good morning from Malaysia and welcome you, all of you, to this morning. And today we are going to start with our sessions, open paper sessions. As you know, you can see here the open paper session is the sustainable materials, and the chairpersons are Dr. Tejaswini Kaur and Mr. Rovin David. But Mr. Rovin not joined. Dr. Tejaswini Kaur will handle the session. The papers presenters are here, and all of you are requested to make presentation within 5 minutes. And also you are requested to, there is a question answer session, make ready yourself so that you can start and finish on time. I just shared our chairperson's details. And Dr. Tejaswini Kaur is a faculty member of School of Electronics and Engineering, KIIT, Bhubaneswar, India. Dr. Tejaswini received her BTech degree in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering from BPUT, received her MTech degree in Communication System Engineering from KIIT, and PhD degree in Electronics and Telecommunication in 2018 from KIIT itself. And she has a total 14 years of teaching experience from 2004 to 2008, and she was a lecturer in the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, College of Engineering, Bhubaneswar. She is currently assistant professor at KIIT, deemed university. She has published more than, I think not 10, I think it is more than 14 research articles in Scopus Index Journal and other conference and journals. Her current research interests include signal processing, image processing, video processing, and CVIR system. And personally, I can tell that she is very efficient professor lecturer when we meet, and very particular about her works. So not casual at all. And our next chairman, Mr. Rovin, is not present. So we are not at present. So we.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are present. Okay, okay. Sorry, thank you. So.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rovin is assistant professor in mechanical engineering department, mechanical engineering department with the Academy of Science and Technology Technical Campus, Kerala. He has more than 9 years of teaching experience and bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from TKM College of Engineering, Kerala, master degree in automobile engineering from National Institute of Technology, Warangal, India. He started his career in planning engineering in a prestigious firm of India in June, and later on he shifted his career as a lecturer in mechanical engineering. Currently, his research interests include bioenergy, biomass briquetting, sustainable thermal insulation materials, alternative fuels. He has expertise in biomass, briquetting, renewable energy resources, and production processes. He has presented more than 50 research articles in national and international conferences and journals, also reviewer and editorial board member of different peer-reviewed journals. He has worked as a technical program committee member of international conferences as well. He currently holds the title of reviewer of reputed journals like Biomass Conversion, Bioenergy, Springer, Environmental Science and Pollution Research by Springer, GRD journals, etc. He is a good mentor and several undergraduate students under his supervision, receiving funding from government organizations and national international awards as well. We welcome both Dr. Tejaswini and Mr. Rovin David to chair the session. And again, I request all the participants to make their time schedule. And there is a small addition, madam. Mr. Novin yesterday cannot present. So in this session, he will present after the session is finished with the serial number. I'll put the name in the chat box. Please, candidates, to be ready with your serial number of the names. Thank you, madam and Dr. Mr. Rovin. The
yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Chairman is yours. Novin, not now. You have to wait later. I have put the chat box. Follow the chat box, the serial number.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
A very good morning, sir. Should we wait for the chairperson to announce our name or should we start?
I think you can start. Serial number sir is already given, right?
Yeah.
So you can, the first participant can start actually.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Not come side by side.
Yes, sir.
Yes, visible.
Shall I
Okay.
start? Yes.
Yes, please start.
Yes. Good morning to one and all present here. First of all, I would like to thank the chairperson and paper selecting committee for selecting the papers. The title was.
1 minute, Faiz, we cannot see you. Your video is off or?
Wait, let me.
No, PPT is okay.
Yes, sure, sir.
Your video cannot see.
Let me check one.
Gallery. Start.
Yes.
Yes.
Now we can see you.
Yes.
PPT not come yet.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Please start.
Yes, sir. The title of the paper is Investigation of Hydroforming Pressure by Analytical and Simulation of Tubular Specimen. So in this presentation overview, we are going to see is what is the aim of this project. And then the main title is tube hydroforming. What is a tube hydroforming? Its advantage and its application, and what are the failure modes. After that, literature review. After that, chronology of what are the works we have done, experimental calculation, theoreticals, and ANSYS analysis work, then conclusions. So the main aim of the research is comparison of experimental pressure with theoretical pressure and perform simulation using Abacus software used for a tube hydroforming process. This project is fully based on tube hydroforming. So we did tube hydroforming for 3 different types of materials. We manually calculate the theoretical pressure using formula, and then we did experimentation. Then we have done simulation. We compared all these 3 pressures. So the objective of the research is comparing the theoretical and experimental pressure of deforming of components, and then to carry out the analysis of tube hydroforming process in Abacus. So this hydroforming is only for tube, not for flat materials, only for circular tube materials. And then other than that, we are investigating the axial displacement of the tubular materials. And after that, we did the annealing also, and comparative study of normal and annealing for the tube materials. So the tubular materials, we compared 3 materials: aluminum, brass, and copper. So this is the simple definition for hydroforming. It's a method of deforming sheet metals in tubular materials with the help of pressurized fluid medium. We will get the bulge materials using the closed dies. So this is the simple process. For example, if you take picture A, this is the raw tube materials loaded into the dies. Then we will close the press. Then sealing rod engaged, and the pressure inside the fluid medium was water. So from that one, once we give the axial displacement, that means pressure, we will get the hydroformed components. So what is the advantage of this hydroforming? Is important thing is there will be no welding activity to get that bulge material. So there will be no NDT, there will be no defects. And then this is mainly for a lightweight construction. And then there will be no tool cost. And then flexibility will increase, and any different types of shapes we can create. Not only bulge material. This project we create only bulge material. Depending upon the die, we will create as many shapes. So these are all some applications of this tube hydroforming. So it is mainly used in automobile industries and aerospace industries. More than that, bicycle frame, metallic blows, some local components, and elbow, T, some piping components, some companies are producing this. So these are all the general failure modes: bursting, wrinkling, buckling, folding back. It's all so bursting happens due to excessive circumferential stress, and then wrinkling happens axial compressive stress due to end feed. Buckling is it's happen only at the initial point, starting of the operation, due to high force. If you cannot directly give the high force, we can give step-by-step pressure. If you go more force, you will get a buckling. Then folding back. This will happen after wrinkling. This will combine together. So if you go excessive axial load, you will get wrinkling. After that, you will get folding back. Next, these are all the sample pictures of failure modes of tube hydroformings. First one is buckling. Second one is wrinkling. Third one is bursting. Bursting is nothing but a small crack will come. So these are the literature review. The first paper, JP, Abdandas et al., they compared experimental and numerical simulation of hydroforming, and he compared aluminum and copper. And then second one, he evaluated the tube formability and he used bulge test. That's the only difference. And he didn't do experiment pressure. He did for analytical and finite element simulations. Then in third paper, he discussed a single step tube hydroforming process, not multi-step. And then this fourth paper, same one of my colleague did it. So he did tube hydroforming. After that, he did annealing. So the annealing temperature for aluminum, brass, copper was 413, 540, 520. The same temperature we have also taken for our project. Then the last paper, he used finite. He used hydroforming with he only did ANSYS, finite element modeling and finite element analysis. But the important thing he did is he did simulation in 5 bases. Depending upon how much pressure we are giving, he did multi-stage deformation. That's the important thing, this one. And then this seventh paper, he described design and development of hydroforming for long SU frame for the hydroforming process. And then next paper, Ahmedullah et al., he summarized, he used low carbon steel and aluminum alloys. The last paper is he presented the theoretical analysis, numerical simulation to avoid only wrinkling behavior, how to control and avoid the wrinklings. Only one defect he analyzed. So first step of the process, calculation of theoretical pressure. This is the formula. So important point is we have to find the strength coefficient and strain hardening component K and N. So for this is the formula: stress equal to strength coefficient to true strain. So N value we will get it from the stress strain curve. This is calculation for aluminum. We have given detailed calculation only for aluminum. So aluminum, this is the one. So we got theoretical pressure as 13.6 Newton per millimeter square. Same formula is applicable to brass. Only thing is the number varies. For brass, we got theoretical pressure 23.78. For copper, we got 25.64. This is only for theoretical pressure. So this is the die layout. If you see the die layout, size of the die is 38 millimeter. So our tube size is also 38 millimeter. So this is the tube. This model is created in SolidWorks. So this is a 3D model. This is the tool setup, die setup. So same, we fabricated this one. So the specimen is brass. What we have done, this is top die and bottom die. Inside this one, we will control the pressure and extrusion. Sorry.
Continue.
Yes. This is the hydroforming process. We changed the tool setup. It's the same one what we have shown. So from this one, we did the process. So our diameter of the tube is 38 millimeter. Thickness is 1.5 mm. So first we did trial at the 30 millimeter feet. So trial 1, it was filed. Trial 2, trial 3, trial 4. Each we changed different pressure, 30 and then 25, then 20 and 15. At final, we got it at 15 pressure. We got a flaw-free without any crack or any buckling. Without this, we got it in trial 6. Then in brass, we got it at 20 millimeter feet. This is we got it at trial 2. Copper also we got 20 millimeter feet. We got it. It is also second trial we got it. So and then this is a simulation thing. We did it in Abacus. We did all the pre-processing, post-processing. This is only the final results of aluminum, brass, and copper. We note down the value. So this is the experiment results, aluminum, brass, and copper. This is what our final output, what we got it from the experiment. And then this is the thing. We compared all the things. So theoretical pressure is 13.6, 23, 25 for aluminum, brass, copper. Abacus result is 23, 30, 35. Experimental result is 18, 23, and 21. So all the numerical simulation was conducted in an Abacus and compared it with theoretical and all are quite reliable. So this is the axial displacement. Is only for aluminum we did, because aluminum we did 4 different types of pressure. So whenever the force decreases, pressure also decreases. And then annealing, we did annealing for same what we have noted on the literature of the paper, 470, 520, 540 degrees Celsius. So specimen shows good deformability compared to without heat treatment. So the conclusion of the project is theoretical pressure was evaluated and compared to experimental pressure. Brass is closer to copper, and the pressure developed for the required bulge is highest for brass when compared to copper and aluminum. If you see the numbers, brass is the highest one, 30 Newton per millimeter. For everything, all that is 3, brass is the highest number. Then influence of annealing improves the, we did annealing, so it improves the formability of the tubular materials. And then axial displacement, once axial displacement punch increase, which helps the formability of the components. Bulging diameter obtained from experiment results and simulation analysis almost closer. So these are all the references. So thank you for everyone to listen. If you have any queries, let's go.
Any question from the audience, please? With the permission of chair, I should tell one thing,
Yes,
Mr. Faiz.
Yes,
Today is copyright day as well. So you should not mention this type of slide, the copyright 2013. This year is 2022. So this slide background should not be used 2013 or something. It is not copyright of the university.
okay.
You are presenting this in a conference, so it is not a copyright protected slide, or this means this background should not be used.
Okay.
You understand? And when you are presenting, it is a conference paper, not as a thesis part. So you have to show your supervisor and then come for presentation.
Yeah,
You
sure.
should-
Sorry.
Okay, next time you should be careful.
Yeah, sure.
Thank
sir.
you. And about any question from anybody, please write in chat box or raise hand. Otherwise, the chairman can raise one question.
Sir, I have a small doubt. You have included some literatures. I have a humble request to you, kindly literature in table form, or you can represent in table form with the year. You have not mentioned the years in the literature.
Yeah, sure, sir. Okay, sir. I'll change.
Okay.
In reference
We cannot
section.
see Mr. Robin. We can see you.
Okay. Okay. So actually, the camera is on.
Oh. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
First, one query from my side.
Yes, ma'am.
What will be the future scope of this work?
Future scope is we will change the size. Now we did it for 38 millimeter and 1.5 millimeter. So same thing, we will change the parameters, and then we didn't do the bulge test. As per literature, there are 3 more tests are there. After that, we didn't, for this one, we didn't do NDT due to the fund issue. We stopped at that. Advanced NDT, we can do ultrasonic testing on that area. Any crack is there, physically we can check. There are some more
How
things
much
are there.
cost actually? How much cost it? How much cost you bear for this?
This one around Indian money around only for material cost. This is all funded by the college. Only we purchase the material. This all this thing we have in our lab. Only material is the important thing. We purchase.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Next speaker, please. Next. Hello. Yusuf Haddad, are you present, Mr. Yusuf? I think he is not here. Then next speaker, effect of carbon quantum dots by Noor Atala. Are you present? Chi Chin Yap. I think not present. Next speaker, identification of the products from reduction of nitrobenzene. Hello. Noor Farah. Noor Farah Natasha, are you present? I think not present. Interaction and characterization of zinc oxide, Noor Fatin Akila. Miss Noor Fatin Akila binti Mahathir. What happened? All. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But not participants not here. Okay, effect of nitrogen deficiency and UV light on Kevin and Arif. Arif Wuja. Effect of nitrogen. Number 6, effect of nitrogen. Okay. Then extraction phonon interaction. MS Sutisino. Are you
Yes, sir.
present?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Please
Okay.
start.
Okay. So can I share my slide?
Yes, please.
Okay. Wait.
But just to inform, as there are 5 missing, so we are bringing some post-lunch session paper before this. Okay. So
Does
be
it clear?
ready as per I giving the chat box.
Does it
Yes,
clear?
your slide is visible.
Okay.
Thank you,
Good.
please.
So then I can start. Yeah. Okay. Good morning to all, to the chairperson, also all audience. So today I will present on the acetone phonon interaction in lithium bismuth telluride erbium silver glasses. So my name is Muhammad Siddiq Fadil bin Sutrisno from the University Technology Mara. So this level of content. So first we will go on the introduction, methodology, result discussion, and also conclusion. For the introduction, first is regarding on the acetone phonon coupling. So this in the area of the semiconductor, so we have the term like a band gap. We call it band gap. So for the electronic excitation to excite from the valence band to conduction band, we have some factors that assist the electronic excitation. One of them is the formation of electron hole pair formation that we call it exciton bounded between the band gap. Example here, you can see exciton here. It is bounded between the band gap. So whenever it is bounded and also trapped by the band gap, so we need like some energy transfer that can make it out from the trap condition. So what can help this acetone to out from its bounded state? So it is the phonon. So phonon can get how can we characterize the phonon? So it is from the lattice distortion or from the disorderness. So that's why it is important discussion in the glass field. So whenever the acetone is getting the energy from the phonon, okay, from the phonon, so then it can assist the electron excitation. So that this is what we call the acetone phonon coupling. So the phonon have the acetone to do the electron excitation. So this we call the acetone phonon coupling, characterized by the disorderness of the glass system. So this is what I said as the band gap. That is from the Elliott-Washington model. So Elliott-Washington model is a band gap is the band gap model that consider the formation of exciton and also the acetone phonon coupling. You can see from here, this is the exciton, this is the band gap. So whenever we have like some energy transfer from the phonon, okay, so that it will make those exciton ionized and then will have to reduce the band gap. So then whenever it reduce the band gap, so it will make easier electronic excitation. So this is the methodology. So this is my composition. So we increase bismuth. You know, bismuth is a big atom, so it will cause disorderness in our glass network. And then we fabricate our glass by using the matte quenching method. And then we do the measurement for the optical absorption data by using the spectrophotometer. So from the optical absorption data, we analyze it by using the flow tools and also Origin 2019 software. So the result and discussion. So from our discussion, we can see this is my optical absorption data. We can see two peak here. Actually, if we reconvolute, we can get two peak. So first peak here is actually come from the free excitonic peak center. So it indicates the acetone formation. And then this is the acetone phonon coupling peak. So it is from our research, we can get the same actually consistent, same energy that is consistent also with the previous reported literature. And then we analyze the disorderness parameter by using the tool of our optical absorption data. We can see that the disorderness parameter is actually increasing. As you can see from here, it is increasing with the increase of bismuth before it drops. So why it is increasing? So increasing of disorderness parameter is actually indicated increase in disorderness of the glass network. So whenever the disorderness of the glass, we know glass is famous for its disorderness. So it is due to the role of bismuth as glass modifier that will create the defect. So whenever we have a defect, then it will create a free electron hole formation. So the free electron hole formation will decay via the multi-phonon emission. So the multi-phonon emission will help the ionization of acetone. So whenever the acetone is ionized, then we can have the strong acetone phonon coupling at this region. So you can see from here, and whenever the acetone phonon coupling is increasing and we have the strong acetone phonon coupling at the region before 11.1%, we can say that we can have also the reducement, the decrease in terms of energy band gap. So from this, we can conclude that actually the acetone phonon coupling, whenever we have the strong acetone phonon coupling at some position, then it can help also to reduce the energy band gap. So it is actually a good news to us because we can find one way to reduce the band gap of a material, especially in glass field. So you can see from here that the reducement in terms of band gap is actually coincided with decrease in acetone binding energy. So it actually indicated the easier dissociation of acetone or ionization of acetone. It is from the energy transfer from the multi-phonon. So it will the energy that the acetone get from the phonon will help the dissociation of acetone overcome its binding energy. Then the acetone will assist the electron excitation as a free carrier, thereby reducing the energy band gap. So then it needs the lower energy only to do the electron excitation from the valence band to the conduction band. So in conclusion, so you can see from here, first is we do our glass sample and we examine its optical absorption age properties, and then we calculate its disorderness parameter for all glass sample. And then after that also we analyze our absorption coefficient data by using the Elliott-Washington model, okay? Because this model is the model that consider the electron hole formation, consider the formation of acetone, also consider the acetone phonon coupling in our band gap, optical band gap determination. So, and we can get also the result. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
You for your presentation.
Finish.
Any question from the participant side? Please ask.
sir. I have one query. So what is the requirement of study that optical absorption characteristics? Why we need to study that?
Okay, so in order to get the value for the optical in order to analyze the energy band gap, optical band gap, so it is necessary to do the optical absorption because the energy band gap is electronic excitation that excite due to the photon emission. So whenever the photon is attacking to our ion, then it will excite our electron. So that's why we must consider optical absorption data.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other queries from the participant? And Robin sir, you have any queries from your?
No question. No questions.
All participants,
We
please
can move.
interact. Participant also please raise question so that you can have an interaction session. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next presenter, Dr. Hari, are you ready? Dr. Hari. I think he's not ready yet. He was in mobile. Okay, next speaker, Mr. Sanjaya. Mr. Sanjaya from Nepal. Okay, not here. Payal was not presenting. She not joined, she told me. Now, to Yaman.
Yes, I'm ready, sir.
Okay, please, thank you.
So good morning to professors, scholars, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Duraman from Lincoln University College, Malaysia. My research supervisor is Dr. Janani Selvans. In this conference, I'd like to present about the topics of backlink circle fancy, billet, bounce column, and the compressions. For these presentations, I've done my own experiments in the last November 2021 in my own private lab in Yangon, Myanmar. So in my presentations, it comprises 6 sessions. Section 1 is the introduction. In this section, it presents the applications of co-functioning member in construction industries and the factors that influence on the researcher to do this research and the purpose of this research. Section 2 is the experiment investigation. In this section, it presents how the tested specimen have been fabricated and what are their parameters. And section 3 is test procedure and results. In this section, it presents how the test has been accomplished and what are their results. And section 4 is a discussion, section 5 conclusions, and section 6 is the references that I have used for this article. So for section 1 introductions. So now today in construction industries, the co-functions began more interested to substitute in place of hot corrosive member for their advantages. That's why the co-function section became more applicable, not only as the non-structural member, but also the structural components for constructions of commercial and residential buildings. For this concerns, many researchers and engineers have focused on this points, and they have done so many researches. But still now, the design guide for the co-function are insufficient to be provided. But this is the main point that influence on the researcher to do this research. So the sudden changes of the co-functioning members are called the deformations that have the 2 influencer factors called the material failures and buckling. So buckling means when axially loaded member loaded stabilities, and generally it occurs within the elastic range of the materials. So in figure 1, we can see the pure buckling both of the single detached channel C sections. So in figure A, here you can see the significant distortion of the cross-section of the internal four lines occur only for the rotation, but not for the translation. And this type of the buckling is called the local buckling. So in figure B, here we can see the significant distortion of the channel's members occur for both the rotations and the translation. And this form of buckling is called the distortional buckling. But unlike with the figure C and figure D, there is no significant distortion of the cross-section member. But here we can see both the rotations and translation of whole member. And this type of buckling is called the overall global buckling. So in figure C, here we can see that both the rotations and translation of the whole member occur, and this is called the flexual torsional buckling. And in figure D, here we can see only the translation of the member, and it is called the flexual buckling. So the main purpose of this study is to investigate the buckling behaviors and the Belger-Weld connection of the Bilep-Boer-Foncy stat colons. Stat colon means the short colons. So and a compression test. So for this purpose, so I have done by using the 80 specimen and the two group of group A and group B. So in group A, I have used the 9 specimen with end plate, and in group B, I have used the 9 specimen without end plate. So in section 2, experiment investigation, here in figure 2, so we can see the geometry of the specimen that I have used in my experiments. So on my left side, this is a specimen of the group A with end plate, and on my right side is a specimen of the group B without end plate. Here we can see the red colors. Red colors represent the welded joint connection of the Bilep-Boer column. And here you can see the 3 types of the weld spacings. So ranging from there is the 509.6 millimeter, there is the 204.8 millimeter, and there is the 77.4 millimeter. Based on this point, I focus is which welding type connection will be the best for the Bilep-Boer connection, and what will be their buckling mode. So the section parameters of these Bilep-Boer can be seen in figure 3, and the measurement of these parameters are illustrated in table 1, and the 2 categories of group A with end plate and group B without end plate. So under each group here we can see the measurement of each parameter are the same, only except for the weld spacings. Here in each group I've classified so 3 weld spacing 509.6 to 77.4 millimeter, and under each weld spacing I've used 3 specimens. So for the section 3, the test procedure and research. In my experiments, I have used a universal testing machine with the maximum compressive load of 1,000 kilonewtons. And the testing procedure and method are according to ISO 689 to GIS Z2248. And for the fabrication of tested specimen, because of the geometric imperfection, the specimen length of the average length of tested specimen is 624.11 millimeter. And the specimens are welded by using the arc welding, and they are joint connecting with face-to-face filler weld connection. And the weld spacing that I've already mentioned as before, ranging from 77.4 millimeter to 509.6 millimeter. And the use of welded electrode is J3812 E6013 at room temperature. So this is the evidence photo that I have done this experiment during last November 2021. So in figure 4, here there's a specimen in group A or with end plate or AS1, AS4, and AS5 are compared before and after applying the compressive load. Similarly, in figure B, here the tested specimen of group B or BS10, BS12, and BS14 are compared before and after the compressive load. And in table 2, it represents the compression test results of the Bilep-Boer section of group A with end plates. Here we can see the 8 columns and the 9 rows. So in second column, here we can see the 9 tested specimen that I have used in the group A of from AS1 to AS9. And also in column 7, here we can see the failure load. So the red color represents the maximum failure load, and the last columns represent the types of bucklings during my experiments. Similarly, in table 2, it represents the test result of the group B from BS10 to BS18. Now, their failure load in column 7 and their buckling mode in last columns. So for section 4 discussion, so based on my experiment, the water spacing of 509.6 millimeter sustained the largest failure load of 181.4 kilonewtons in group A and 166.63 kilonewton in group B. So once the water spacing decreased from 509.6 millimeter to 204.8 millimeter, here we can see the changes of the failure load. So ranging from 180.4 kilonewton to 126.8 kilonewton in group A and 166.63 kilonewton to 123.2 kilonewton in group B. So this showed that so decreasing of the water spacing reduced the failure load. So also for the mode of buckling, in the first group, the group A, here we can see the two types of mode of buckling. So there is the pure buckling mode local, and there is the interactive buckling mode local distortional. But in group B, in the second group, so here we can see only the local pure buckling mode. So from this experiment, it demonstrates that the Belger wet connection for the billet box is 509.6 millimeter, and it is recommended that the unnecessary welded area reduce their strength for the bearing load capacity. So for conclusions, this experiment evident that the welded connections and the use of the advantages of end plate of the billet box column and the compression loads. And also the increase in the weld areas were unable to support more ultimate load, and the results display that 509.6 millimeter is the best truth of the test. And also that these experiments demonstrate that the two factors that govern their load bearing capacity, welded connections and the application of fixing plate at the end of the billet box stacks. And throughout the experiment, there is no occur of overall and global buckling mode. So finally, it is recommended to use this experiment results with analytical and numerical approaches to be more reliable in design evaluation state. So these are the references that I have used for this article. So thank you for your kind attention on my presentation.
Thank you for your nice
Thank you, sir, for your excellent presentation.
Sir, carry on.
Okay, ma'am.
Any queries from the participant side? Okay. So I have one concern, like what is the need to study this buckling behavior of the materials?
Right?
What is the need to study the buckling behavior? Why exactly you are studying about it?
Because in construction industry, the buckling are used only the non-structural member. But in future, so we hope that to use this material in place of structural member. Because if we can substitute this material in place of the hot rolled steel members, there's many advantages for the environments, for the construction technologies, and also for the construction costs. That's why we are focusing on how to use this member at the structural components, like the beams and columns in the building of the construction building.
Okay, you have selected two different types of specimen, A series and B series, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference in that?
Difference is there is because of the use of the end plate. So the benefits of the horns, so it enhance the bearing capacity of the column. So by using the end plate and without end plate.
Have you done a cost analysis of A type specimen and B type specimen? Which one will be more costly?
I think here is cost is not so much difference, but the bearing load capacity will be the great difference.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, you have tested around 18 specimens, right?
Yes.
Sir, did you perform any statistical analysis or error analysis?
Yes, just now that I'm using the ANSYS software to make the comparisons of this experiment results with the numerical calculations.
Okay, okay. I think in this study, you were only experimental results.
Pardon?
Sir, I think in this study, you were only experimental. Right? Am I audible?
Your voice breaking. Please say it again.
Okay, okay, sir. Maybe due to network problem.
Network problem. You can write in chat box.
No, sir. We can move to the next participant.
Okay, network problem. Okay, next, Dr. Hari is ready, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please. Thank you, Mr. Tu.
It is seen, sir?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning to all of you, Dr. Shandip Poddar and respected chairperson. And this is the paper for our presentation in International Conference on Sustainable Developments in Material Science, Technology and Engineering. And our paper title is Water Contamination Removal by Manganese Associated Graphene Oxide Nanosheets. I, Harishankar Vishwas, presenting this paper. And we have synthesized graphene oxide, and this is actually tune synthesis. We can tune it and we can form a nano sheet also. Naturally, graphene oxide is like a powder type oxide, but here we have synthesized a sheet type of graphene oxide. And initially, it is formed by Gabbard method, but we enhanced the Gabbard method using ethanol solvent. And the picture A, it is the raw picture of graphene oxide before washing by ethanol, and picture B, it is after washing on the petri dish, and C, it is dried condition product on microfoil. And picture D, this is the same image of the graphene oxide. And this graphene oxide we have applied for removal of some heavy metal ions like copper, cadmium, nickel, chromium, etc. And we have got the good result for the removal of heavy metal ion. And from this chart, we have seen that the percent of removal of copper, it is 74% from the wastewater. So our graphene oxide can be used for the removal of heavy metal ions, but it is selective for our case because we did not perform this experiment for all types of heavy metals. We only perform these 4 metals, and in the next, our future plan is to study on the other heavy metals. So for these 4 metals, we already seen that 74% copper 2+ ions can be removed by this graphene oxide, and 62% cadmium 2+ can be removed, and nickel is only 24%, and chromium is only 8%. So copper is more percentage we can remove by this graphene oxide. So for other heavy metal in future, we will study. And this is the graph for the removal of heavy metal ions. That's been adsorption, isotherm experiment data. And what is the mechanism? The mechanism of the removal is that if we see, this is the graphene oxide, and if this is the metal ion solution, then if we introduce the graphene oxide in this metal ion solution, then from the base method, the metal ion just absorbed on the graphene oxide side. And how the graphene oxide absorbed this type of metal, I'm showing this here. This is the graphene oxide structure. Tentative structure is this. This is a tentative structure because there is a different type of sheet, maybe like this, hexagonal, that maybe there's some sp2, there's some sp carbon atom also. There are so many groups. That's mean OH group, that's mean alcoholic group, acidic group, aldehyde and ketone group is also there. So through the OH group or keto group or aldehyde group, the metal ion like copper 2 plus or 3 plus, lead 2 plus, like this type of metal, we can absorb by the graphene oxide. So there is a OH group. So OH group contains lone pair or any oxygen containing group. Oxygen contains lone pair. This lone pair can act as a negative side and metal ion is the positive side. So it can form coordinate bond, or this is the attraction that's been adsorbed through the interionic or in bipolar attraction. Okay, so it can form hydrogen bond like this. So here it is shown that if there is a metal ion, this metal ion can trapped by the graphene oxide. So this is our study in this paper. And what is the conclusion? Conclusion is that we can remove such type of metal ions like copper, chromium from the wastewater, and our wastewater was the synthetic wastewater. That's mean we just make the solution of metal ions, but it is not the field work. In the near future, we'll do the field work because this is a good result. So we can do the field work, that's mean from the industrial water, how we can remove the metal ion. And this is the acknowledgement. And there are so many references there. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Hello.
Thank you for your presentation.
Yes, thanks.
Is there any question? Sir?
There any please from the participant side?
I think
So
the
I have
question- Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. You can continue. Then I'll ask.
No, you you ask the question.
Okay, so I have a concern like, can it be commercialized? What is the cost of it? Because it is a good problem statement you have selected. So, what is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
cost? Can it be commercialized?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, the graphene oxide is Gabbard method is easily we can synthesize. It is cost effective. So economically, we can use this type of materials because it is not graphene, it is graphene oxide. So we can readily, it can prepare. Okay. So
Does it itself that graphene oxide has some bad impact on health? Have you studied about it?
Graphene oxide, it depends on the method of preparation. Okay. If we use potassium nitrate, then it is very dangerous because nitrite ions and there are potassium ions. So if we can remove this type of metals or this type of ions from the graphene oxide, then it will be effectively more effective for our health. Okay, so we used alcoholic solution, and again and again, if we centrifuge this, then most of the metals and this type of dangerous gas is removed. So our graphene oxide is safe.
Okay, thank you. That's all from my side. Robin, sir, you can ask if you have some queries.
No, ma'am, no, ma'am. We can go to the next presentation.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker ready, Mr. Aish Haddad. Numerical simulation of an earth abundant and non-toxic thin film solar cell. Mr. Ashia Haddad, Munir Fahom. Are you around? Okay, not. Miss Shangita. Miss Shangita, are you around?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, please.
I am around. Yes.
Please present, Miss Shangita. Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, sirs and madam. Yeah. Good morning to all the professors of Lincoln University College and Ms. Scott, and also a special thank to Dr. Poddar. So,
Make it full
my
screen,
today's
ma'am.
topic.
Make it full screen.
Yes, sir.
The slideshow. Make it slideshow. Control
Yes.
F5.
Yes, sir. Yes. Can you see my screen, sir? I've made it full screen and slideshow.
No, it is not full screen. It is.
Is it
PPT.
visible?
It is not full screen.
We can see your presentation, but it is not.
It's F5.
Yes, F5.
Control F5.
Yes, sorry, control F5. Yes.
I think you have not shared the full screen. You share only PPT show. Okay, this way you can show also. 1, 2, like that. You stop share and share the full screen of your computer. Otherwise, you can show like this, PPT. You click here and make it full screen.
Stop sharing.
Share your desktop.
Yes, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yes, can, but you
So
can you
it's
click
on
here
the
down?
review on the methods towards abnormal mass detection in digital mammogram. Yes. So to introduce on the topic, like we are working on the cancer, especially breast cancer. So coming to cancer, it is one of the fearsome disease in today's modern world. And the second most type of breast cancer, and breast cancer is the second most type of cancer, and also among women in the worldwide widespread cancer cause affecting mortality, posing a relating threat to public health in modern world and in elderly women. So one of the rapidly emerging disease across the world is breast
Shongita, please,
cancer, and
please
at
change the
present
slide.
our studies saying that approximately over 1 million female population. Yes, sir.
You go to second slide. Your slide is not changing.
Okay. But it is changing here, sir.
You have not shared that screen. What you share when Zoom asks, you share the full screen, or you open the PPT, then you share the PPT. You shared your MS PowerPoint show only. You open the PPT full screen mode, then share that screen.
Yes, sir. Can you see my PPT?
Yes, we can see your PPT. You go to second slide, click on the number 2.
Second slide.
Yes, like this
Yes.
you can tell.
This. Okay. So to introduce on cancer, like as I said, it is one of the fearsome disease, and among female elderly women affecting worldwide population of 1 million. And so our study on what we are going to present today is on CAD, computer aided diagnosis, which is a recently developed interdisciplinary mechanism. Why we are calling it interdisciplinary? Because it is involving different studies of medical imaging, computer science, and artificial intelligence we have used in this study for detection of cancer and its accurateness, to calculate the accurateness. So it is also one of the cost effective method helping the medical practitioners all over the world and in detection of abnormalities and in analyzing the medical image. So it's a one step further helping the medical practitioners towards detection. So in computer radiography, CR mammogram DICOM images, we have studied that the grayscale images, there are wide range of grayscale shades. So the intensity of image is the primary feature to determine the abnormality. So there are different colors present in any medical image, but we have tried to convert it into a grayscale image and then tried to bring it down to the most intensity value of color in the image, and that way we tried to detect. So one of the best, our objective is one of the best method for detection of breast malignancy and discovery at nascent stage. So when a person is suffering from this kind of a disease, so at a early stage in digital mammography, so that we can catch the disease and try to detect it and cure it as soon as possible. So it poses excellent image and have huge intensity of resolution that enables preparing these images with high computation rate. The widespread nature of medical image on computer is some of the basic features in assisting the diagnosis of radiologists. Image processing that highlights that portion, that particular portion which is malignant after being extracted, and arrangement of these intensity values in computerized mammogram is one of our purpose. So it paves a way for a leading invention in computer aided diagnosis of mammogram in the coming years. And it also helps to distinguish this CAD, which helps in identification strategies for masses that have been widely covered in our research work. So these are some of our objectives. Now, we have tried to do a review on the various methods by different scholars all over the world. So to mention some of them, the region growing technique, we have given the references. So homogeneous grayscale information for detection of regions have been found, and then some have used the BHA, the binary homogeneity enhancement algorithm by Dr. I.K.M. Indrakant Moitro in one of his research work. The Aura curve, the statistical study has been done, then the Markov's model has been used somewhere. So this way we have tried to do a literature review. Now coming to our proposed method, we have seen that as the diagram shows, we take an input medical image and we try to follow the process of segmentation. So segmentation is like breaking up the image into small parts. Now the different techniques of segmentation have been reviewed and studied. Next, after we segment the image, next process comes is the feature extraction. So we try to extract those relevant features from out of that medical image, and then the final step of classifying the medical image and coming to a decision making process. And this way we finally get the output image. Now, as we mentioned already that the proposed method, one of the first method is image segmentation, which breaks up the medical image into different small minute parts. So the medical image is coming from different sources and is combined into 3D volume. So our aim is to divide these pictures into small parts. Now, the different methods also have been followed by different scholars. So we have tried to do a review work in this paper and in this work. So one of this method is the region growing. So region growing method depends on the assumption that the neighboring pixel values are compared within one region and that have similar features, we try to segregate them and keep it separate. Next is the statistical method, where the different mathematical and statistical concepts, the formulas, the models have been used for the segmentation process. And then another method of segmentation we have reviewed is the thresholding method, which is one of the simplest method of creation of binary images. Binary tree has been constructed out of that intensity values we obtain from the medical image to carry out the process of segmentation. Next is the feature extraction. The primary pair of estimated data feature have been extracted and a calculated modified resultant standard has been achieved. So following this method, we have carried a review and found that the most common methods are the Gabbard method, the LOG. The Gabbard is a filtering model where a filtering model have been used and to improve the exterior of the image by compressing these intensity values. Then the LOG method. This method has another filtering technique where a high pass value has been shown to faintly, show the principal edges of the image, and this way we detect these edges. Then the statistical texture feature has been used, where the GLC and the gray level co-occurrence matrix has been used, and the morphological features, where just from the medical image we find the size, the shape. This way we try to extract the features. And finally, the classification method has been used, where the region of interest, the ROI obtained from the image for classification of the surrounding masses or the suspected region helps us to finally come to a decision making process, or to classify that whether this is a benign tissue or a non-benign tissue or a malignant tissue or not. So following the classification method, we find that the Markov method, this technique involves the transition on state space from one to another state as being performed on a random basis. Then the KNN, the K nearest neighborhood, where the nearest neighborhood pixel of intensity values have been compared with the neighboring values, and this way we segregate out or classify the most intensity value of pixel in the medical image. And the LDA, the linear discrimination algorithm method, which is one of the traditional method of classification. So these are some of the methods that we have tried to use for segmentation, feature extraction, and classification. And then when we plot the image of these intensity values, we find that the true positive rates and the false positive rates. Sometimes what we assume is the overestimated region, or maybe it's the actual region which is affected. So this way we find the over and the underestimated region, and we plot the true positive rates and the false positive rates. So we have tried to hand draw this diagram, and this way we try to classify the different degrees of measurement in different classes, and we try to plot the ROC curve for detection of the cancer or the tumor. So identification of tumor has been done with the help of this ROC curve. And so that comes to the end of this method of review process for detection. And to conclude that this is one of the modernized technique achieved in computation and telecommunication, because it has a wide range of equipments being available and which are utilized, which supports the medical images or the mammogram images. As I told, it's an interdisciplinary subject involving computer science, medical science, as well as artificial intelligence. Statistics, some portion have been used. So limited emphasis has been placed on analyzing the diagnostic process used by the mammogram to reach a diagnosis process. So this way we can improve the diagnostic performance as well. And this method also has a potentiality to further do future studies because of its simplicity and cost effectiveness. And this method also motivates online and real-time breast cancer diagnosis. Like we put the medical image into a system, and then we can identify, okay, these are the intensity values, and then we can come to a final conclusion. So this has an online or a real-time, this is an online or a real-time system. And also this can be, but sometimes it can be very difficult to decide who may have the breast cancer or who may be. So that's one of the problem or challenges we are still trying to overcome. But to a major extent, we have found that it does find the sensitivity, the specificity, the accurateness. It can be found from any medical image, and the majority focuses on either enabling the mammogram cases for examination and for diagnosis, future diagnosis purpose or not. So this provides an archive that provides a material to be referenced along with time as time progresses. So this study of CAT, computer aided diagnosis mammography, is a key point for detection of breast abnormality and classify them according to benign, malignant, or whether it is a normal cell. So we can come to a conclusion. So several techniques of segmentation, feature extraction, and classification have been developed as proposed by different scholars, and these have been compared and studied in this review. Numerous research works have been performed so far, but still it remains a major challenge in the process of choosing an accurate method towards segmentation, detection, feature extraction, and classification. So these are some of the references we have used, the recent references as well as the traditional methods followed. So that comes to the end of the slide, sir. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation. You have reviewed some papers related to detection of breast cancer. According to your opinion, which is the best method?
Best method? Sir, we have tried to do a review work over here on the different techniques of segmentation, feature extraction, and classification. So out of that, we tried to develop a new system of CAD.
Which one is the best methodology?
Okay, so you want me to suggest the best method? Definitely, I would say the BHE, the binary homogeneity enhancement algorithm, because it's a algorithmic procedure which definitely leads us to a conclusion. We created a binary tree. We can create a binary tree from the medical images.
Which
we
one
found
is the
that
most
the intent.
expensive method, ma'am?
Okay, expensive. Out of some mentioned here, I can say expensive would be to create a model like the Markov model or the traditional ones. But as time progresses, as we are also trying to develop in this work, a new computer aided diagnosis, as I said, it's a cost effective one. So the traditional methods definitely would involve many overheads and would incur more expenses compared to the modern methods.
What are the challenges in traditional methods for imaging of this breast cancer?
Traditional methods?
What are the challenges you face in traditional methods?
So your voice is breaking.
What are the
challenges?
Challenges you face in...
What are the challenges we faced? Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
So in my method or the traditional methods you're saying?
The traditional.
Traditional methods. Okay. Sir, for the traditional methods, it's like overhead cost increases, more time is taken. So these are some of the challenges which we tried to overcome in our modern methods of computer aided diagnosis.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, professors. I was presented yesterday from business and management field. So can I ask question?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Potter. So Ms. Sangita, actually, I appreciate a lot about this research topic, because even now, just like some of my friends got the breast cancer. So because according to your conclusion, I think this is very fruitful and also very useful. So from your point of view, which part from your results, I mean the research findings that you find the most useful, and that useful part, how can it apply to the field, especially for the breast cancer patient? Thank you so much.
So which part is useful, you're saying, out of this research work?
Yes.
So
yes.
definitely the classification, the last part, the classification and the decision making process, where we finally conclude whether a patient actually needs diagnosis or not, or actually the tissue is malignant or a normal tissue or not. So the concluding part.
Okay, thank you so much.
If no more question, madam, you
Yes.
want?
No, we can proceed for the next.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Mr. Fawad. Are you ready? You unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am ready, sir.
Okay, please.
Hello, everyone. Did you see my screen share?
We are seeing the PPT show, means first slide.
Okay.
You can go to second slide. No, not sure. Shared yet. Black.
Okay, sir.
You click on the second slide.
So now it is visible.
No. Yes, now okay. Go to second, we can see. Yes, okay. Please start. Go to first and start.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to give a thanks to Lincoln University College by providing an opportunity to these research scholars to present their research work in the conference. My name is Engineer Fawad Ahmed. I am doing PhD in Civil Engineering from Lincoln University College, Malaysia. My research topic is a leap towards environmental and economic friendly concrete having locally available lathe waste fibers as a fiber reinforcement. So this is my research topic. First of all, I will introduce myself. I am working as assistant professor and in charge engineering material and concrete lab, and also convener outcome-based education in Department of Civil Engineering, Ikra National University, Peshawar, Pakistan. My qualification is BSc in Civil Engineering, MSc in Civil Engineering Structures, and now my PhD in progress from Lincoln University College, Malaysia. Now getting towards my research, first of all, I will give a brief introduction about concrete and the material which have been used in concrete as a fiber reinforcement. So concrete is most widely used composite material made of cement, sand, gravel, and water. Then fibers like steel, glass, carbon, polypropylene, and there are many types of fibers which are used as a fiber reinforcement in concrete to give a strength to concrete, to make it a hard, to make it a brittle, to make to take more loads as compared to traditional concrete. But these fibers are too expensive in market. So why lathe waste fiber has been used in my research? Every day, about 20 to 30 kg of lathe waste are produced in local workshop in Mardan, my hometown in Pakistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which required proper management of recycling. To take this waste material for recycling, it for industry gets too costly. Is lathe waste is just like a steel fibers, so its proper management is very costly. Effective utilization in concrete will effectively gain the strength of concrete because it is freely available in market. The problem statement, the waste generated by lathe machine at Mardan region, Pakistan, which are possessing a serious risk for local community, can be effectively used in concrete as a fiber reinforcement. It creates a landfilling and hazard to environment. Recycling, why recycling and transportation cost is very much of lathe waste? Because it have a sharp edges and the labor got injured during the transportation or dumping it to the steel mills. The research aim was to develop a new economic and environmental friendly lathe waste steel fiber by analyzing the mechanical properties of concrete. The research objectives were to determine the mechanical properties, compressive and flexure strength of concrete. These are the two basic strengths of hardened concrete, which we usually do in civil engineering in general in concrete technology. To analyze the optimum dosage concentration in newly developed lathe waste reinforced concrete and to compare newly developed reinforced concrete with control concrete. Control concrete means that will not have lathe waste. What is the research gap? How my research is different from the others? Lathe waste used in past research is obtained from different machine process like drilling, boring, turning, and threading. But this research work consists of threading process of 3, 4, and 6 inches cast iron pipe used in deep wells from local lathe machine workshop in Mardan. I have obtained lathe waste from local available lathe machine workshop in Mardan. Now, my research methodology was, first of all, I studied the background study to link my research with past study. I have studied different research papers. The second step was experimental analysis. For experimental analysis, first of all, I have made a concrete cylindrical samples and then beam samples. The cylindrical sample were tested for compression test and the beam sample were tested for flexure strength. Then after that, the result compilation is the universal testing machine is used for compression test and flexure test. So the UTM only gave us the loads and the stress strain curves. But I have, for convenience to researchers, I have converted it to strength. How? I will further explain it. Total 42 cylindrical samples were costed, and the percentage of fiber reinforcement, lathe waste fiber reinforcement was 0.5, 1%, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3% respectively. Why up to 3%? From past research papers, the optimum dosage was about 1.5 or 2. So I have used for more clarity, I have used 2.5 and 3%. The test performed was at 7, 14, and 28 days after curing age. This is the, on the right side, the sample size has been shown. The sample size has been followed by American Society of Testing Material C192, mean that I have costed the sample as per ASTM American standards. Now, you can see these are the fibers which has been used in concrete, and these are the cast iron pipes which has been during lathing. The waste was generated, and that waste has been used in concrete. As I told in previous slides that 2 cylindrical specimens were costed for compressive test. I will back to my previous slide. Each 2 companion cylinders were tested for compression test. These are the quantities of ingredients for which we have done the cylindrical for casting the specimen, and their standards were followed. American standards were followed for my costing and preparation of test specimens. These are some pictures which I have been taken. Now for beam specimen, I have costed 2 concrete beam specimen for each companion mix. We have 6 type of mix: M0, M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. These are only the designations. The lathe waste addition is 0, 0.5%, 1, 1.5, 2, and 2.5. And the flexure test was only performed on 28 days. Now, please focus to this slide. This is basically the conclusion of my experimental program. 2 types of tests were performed: compression test and flexure test. Compression tests were performed by standard ASTM C39, and flexure test was performed as per ASTM C293. The compressive strength was found by formula maximum load divided by the cross-sectional area of cylinder. As previously I mentioned that for compressive strength, I have costed cylindrical specimen, and for flexure strength in the form of modulus of rupture, I have costed a beam cylinders. So 42 cylinders were costed for compressive strength, and 14 beam specimen were costed for flexure strength. These are the overall conclusion of my results. For 7 days, for 14 days, for 28 days, compressive strength, and then only flexure strength were performed for 28 days. So all the curing age shows that the strength was increased. The strength was increased due to its bridging capacity of fibers. Lathe waste fiber creates a bridge between gravels and sand, and it bridges the composite and increases the strength. The trend line of 7, 14, and 28 days is same. Compressive strength shows that incorporating lathe waste steel fiber as a fiber reinforcement, the structural compressive strength of concrete cylindrical specimen is gradually increased up to 2.5%. The strength was increased only up to 2.5%. By further increase, the strength was decreased. Now, this is the modulus of rupture or flexure strength of the beam specimen. Here you can see that modulus of rupture also follows the same trend line as followed for compressive strength for 7, 14, and 28 days. This also shows that 2.5% is the optimum dosage of lathe waste steel fibers in concrete. After increasing from 2.5%, the strength will get decreased. The conclusion of my research is that adding lathe machine scrap to concrete, increasing its compressive and flexure strength up to 2.5%. The study helps to develop a new eco-friendly concrete called lathe waste steel fiber reinforced concrete. Recommendation for strength enhancement: the lathe waste can be used as a fiber reinforcement up to 2.5%. Now, if we don't want to change the cementitious property of concrete, so the 28 days of curing age is best for experimentation program, or simply we can say that 28 days as per ASTM standard is best for any experimentation of mechanical properties in civil engineering. Now, these are the pre-review comments of the conference, which I have been incorporated in my research article. I will only open my research article that I have done all the changes as per authors, as per reviewer remarks. Thank you for listening me. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, thank you for your excellent presentation, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I have some doubts. What was the size of the fiber used? It's a micro size or macro?
Sir, it was already I have mentioned. Yes, sir, I didn't show that what was the size, but the size is varied because as this is the waste, so the waste doesn't have any appropriate size. So the size was varied from 2 to 5 inches.
Okay, sir. So, in your opinion, 2.5 is the optimum?
Yes, 2.5 is the optimum dosage for the maximum strength.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. In the introduction, fibers, like polyethylene fiber, carbon nanofibers, etc. And its cost is high.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Sir, I haven't.
You mentioned some other type of fibers in the introduction section.
Yes, sir.
Like
Sir, it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, they are not a waste fiber. They are available in market on price. We will buy it and then use it in concrete. And the lathe waste is available in bulk quantity in lathe shops.
Did you compare the properties like compressive strength and flexural strength with the other fiber incorporated concrete?
Sir, what, sir?
Did you compare your properties like a compressive strength and flexural strength with other fiber reinforced concrete like polypropylene fiber?
Yes, sir. I will show my literature review. You all can see my article.
Okay.
I have done a literature review on different fibers: polypropylene, collagen, human hair. These all have been done in literature review, and also I have tabulated in for more clarity that the previous fibers used in concrete give how much strength.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other question?
Yes, excuse me, sir. I have one question, please.
Okay, sir.
So, sir, your presentation is very great. So, in your presentation, sir, so I'd like to ask one question is, so when we use the fiber filing, steel filings, so in the concrete mixing, is there any advantages for the steel reinforcement?
Steel reinforcement is the other thing that we use it for tensile strength. The fibers you add into the concrete, it basically bridge the small cracks, shrinkage cracks, thermal cracks. When we lay our concrete, when it directly heats by the sun, so there are some small cracks that is called thermal cracks or shrinkage cracks. So these small fibers are basically used to bridge that small cracks. You are talking, I think you are talking about the steel bars. So steel bars is another thing that is used in reinforced concrete structure or to bridge the tensile strength of concrete.
Yes, sir. So my question is because when we use the concrete structures, we use for the reinforcement with steel. So if so, the binds are adding the waste lay the steel fiber in the concrete machine. So I mean, is there any advantages for reducing the usage of the steel reinforcements?
Sir,
Because on one side, so we increase the compressive strength of the concrete by adding the steel filings. So on the other side, for the tensile strength, so can we reduce for the steel bar? So by adding the
yes,
steel,
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, while designing it, we can reduce the number of steel bars. We can increase the spacing between the steel bars.
Yes.
I mean that if we have 6 inches center to center distance, so then we can increase it to the 8 inches center to center distance. So
Yes.
ultimately, the strength as the compressive and flexure strength of concrete increases on that way, that is directly linked with also tensile strength. So then the number of bars will increase by a number of bars will decrease by increasing the center to center distance in the RCC structures.
So now, sir, your focus point is to increase the compressive strength of the plain concrete by adding the latest steel waste. So there is
Yes.
I think, sir. So if so, so in your data, sir, you showed that so after adding the 2% of the concrete weight, sir, so after 28 days, so it increased about the 918 psi. I think, sir, the normal plain concrete, 28 days trend is 750 psi. So here is not so much a difference. So if so, by using these materials, so do we have any other advantages for the construction cost?
The construction cost, in the sense, I can say that if we make the concrete of ratio 1:2:4, and this concrete is giving us the strength of 1:1.5:3. So ultimately, it will give us the strength of 1:1.5:3, and I am making the concrete of 1:2:4.
Okay, thanks.
Any other question?
I think no question, madam and Mr. Rovin.
Already so many questions asked.
Yes, sir.
And it's good interaction session. So we move. Thank you, Mr. Power. We move to next speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Novin, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shall I start presenting, sir?
Oh, okay. This on your slide. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So good morning to one and all present here. I'm just going to present on my paper a survey on energy efficient routing protocols in Internet of Things. My name is Naveen, and I am working as an assistant professor in Mother Institute of Engineering College. I just started my research this year, and my guide is Dr. Joe Pratap sir. He is guiding me throughout the project, and he is working in RMD Engineering College as a professor in the Department of Computer Science Engineering. And my main objective of this paper is to use the nodes energy efficiently, because nowadays all the equipments or all the things are embedded as a smart technology. So whenever the smart technology is used, it is being connected with the internet. So whenever a thing or device is connected with the internet, there is a drop in power. Since data has been transmitted and received, the storage, all the devices is mostly in the battery equipment. So whenever there is a transmitting and receiving, so there will be a loss of energy in the battery. So to reduce that, so by considering this, all the things are connected to the internet, and the battery is getting drained. So to avoid the drain and to increase the lifetime of the overall network, I'm just presenting this paper. Actually, the objective of this is nodes energy should be efficiently used, and direct nodes are to be selected for communicating between the device to base station immediately by giving the priority, rather than coming from different nodes to the cluster head node and then transmitting to the base station. The direct nodes should be communicating with the base station, so that the information will not be getting delayed and it will be transmitted immediately. And the next part is that cluster head. Whenever the nodes are getting deployed in the sensor field, all the nodes will not be a cluster head. Only a selected node will be act as a cluster head, and it will be transmitting to the base station. Thus clusters will be selected upon the threshold values. And one more technique I have added in this is clone cluster head. What is a clone cluster head is, whenever the cluster head is collecting the data from the nodes, this nodes will be sending data to cluster head, and this cluster head will be copying the data, all data to the clone cluster, so that when there is a loss of energy in the cluster head, the nodes will get die, and the data stored in the particular cluster head will not be transmitted to the base station. So if a cloneless cluster head is formed, even though the cluster head is dead, we can start from the clone cluster head by transmitting. So in order to introduce these objectives, I just proposed here algorithm called efficient residual energy based Leech algorithm, short form ERELECH. This is based upon the Leech algorithm. The scope of this is simple: to form a cluster head, to form a cluster head, to send it from the destination to the base station without there is any delay, and the clone cluster head is formed to avoid the loss of data. And by making this, the network lifetime can be increased immediately, and throughput and packet routing and load of the cluster head can also be optimized by using this algorithm. And these are the survey papers I have referred for doing my research. Energy efficient probabilistic routing algorithm. There they use the energy efficient probabilistic routing algorithm, and in energy efficient routing algorithm or Internet of Things, they have used the RPL algorithm, routing protocol algorithm. And in the residual energy based cluster selection, they have used hierarchical clusterical algorithm. And these are the papers. From these papers, I just summarize the algorithms they used for routing. They have used a different kind of algorithm which extends the network lifetime of the nodes. All the existing algorithms are going to give the increase the network lifetime of the nodes, and also reduces the traffic, and the stability period of the network performance also optimized, and the residual energy is compared to get the network longer time. And the cluster has been selected by using a Leech algorithm, and clone algorithm was used to witness a chain establishment alone and only the root detection. The quality of root and root selection among the nodes with made with optical values, and the lower packet loss rate and the improvement reliability was happened in existing algorithms. And what is my proposal is, this is a block diagram of my proposed algorithm. Here what is my main objective is to efficiently use the node energy. So I am just going to efficiently use the node energy with two things. One is the direct nodes, and then is the cluster node. This direct node would be directly communicating the information to the base station, rather than the multiple hop communication will not be happen. Here it is a single hop communication will be happen. That means the direct node will be sending the data directly to the base station, giving a priority to the information which is having more priority. So by doing this, what happens is the node's energy will not getting dissipated, and the node's energy will be stored as much as, so that next the nodes can be used as a next cluster head or the next clone cluster head. So by this we can utilize optimize the energy. And the next one is by electing the cluster. Electing the cluster head is that whenever the nodes are deployed, all the nodes are not going to communicate. By forming a cluster, only a cluster head will be communicating with all the nodes, and this cluster head will be transmitting to the base station. So once the cluster head is formed, then clone cluster head is going to be get formed, so that the data what are all collected by all the nodes from the cluster, all the nodes will be stored in the cluster head, and the cluster head will be transmitted to the base station. In order to avoid the loss of data, what are all the data stored in the cluster head, it is going to be stored in the clone cluster head also, so that even the cluster head dies, the clone cluster will be having the data, and these clone cluster will be act as a cluster head, and it will be sending the data. And re-electing the previous cluster head is mean that the cluster will be having a more energy than the remaining nodes. Whenever a cluster should be selected, it will be comparing the all the energy applicable, all of the energy optimal values, so that which one is having the energy residual energy more, it will be elected as a clustered. So rather than going for every round, we can select the clustered previous clusters as previous cluster itself as a cluster head by considering the threshold values. By doing this, we can save the energy of the nodes, and the nodes can be sending the data more to the base station. So this is a proposed algorithm methodology. By using the optimal values like Euclidean distance, mean energy of the network, and residual energy of the nodes, we are going to select the direct node, and this direct node energy, this direct nodes will be sending the data to the base station immediately. And from by using the direct node, the load of the cluster is reduced, because instead of sending from many nodes, only one node is going to communicate with the base station. So the load of the cluster head automatically decreased, and the cluster algorithm reduces the unwanted power consumption during data to base by grouping the network into clusters. And here the how the cluster has been chosen. Cluster has been chosen by balancing the load in the network, and which reduces the energy consumption and enhances the lifetime of the network. This cluster is selected from the cluster nodes with optimal values, as I said earlier, with the higher energy and residual energy, which has more energy and residual energy. And the next one is the cluster selection happens in every round, and in every round the higher energy level will be checked in the cluster head, and those nodes will be elected as a cluster head by comparing the higher energy level. After the completion of each round, the CH will be elected, and non-CH elected node will be acted as a CH, and non-selected nodes will be acted as the non-CH member node, it will be called as. And these are the steps which will be obtained for clone cluster. Whenever the
Mr. Naveen, you conclude, please.
Yes, sir.
The time is finished.
Yes, sir. Just last one.
You give
Yes, yes,
Thank
that's
you.
one, sir. The novelty of my proposed algorithm is that first thing is we are going to elect the direct node, and the second thing is we are going to select the cluster head with a threshold value, and we are going to form a clone cluster head to copy the data from cluster head. This is the novelty of my proposed algorithm, and these are the reference papers I have referred for proposing this algorithm. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your excellent presentation.
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank
have
you
a
so much, sir.
what are the parameters you consider while selecting optimal path with the source and destination for a routing protocol?
So the parameters I have selected here as the residual energy is a main concept, sir. Why the residual energy is because the nodes are getting transmitted, the energy levels are getting decreased. So in order to get the nodes energy level, I am just main factor is the residual energy, sir. What are the energy available in the particular nodes? According to that only all the selection will be happening, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's about my part.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Any question?
Yes, sir. I'm just asking, have you made any comparison? Recent approaches?
Madam, I'm just still working. Yes, madam. I'm just still working on that, madam. I just started this research in Jan month only. So I'm just collecting the papers and collecting the data, ma'am. But I am not put it through in a table or graph right now, ma'am. I'm just working on this, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, next speaker, Miss Nai Nauman Miliani from Indonesia. Are you ready? Please unmute yourself. Yes, madam. Unmute, please.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Please present.
Can you see?
Yes, we can see your screen. You can make full screen or this way, okay. This document. This one you close, left the cross here, right side, object, yes. Please close. Yes, please present.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the chance given me. I want to present my research bougainville flower, bougainvillea spectabilis will extract in vitro activity test as sunscreen. I want to introduce my team member, me, Ninyawan Yuliani, as team leader. My team members, Siswandono, Jeffrey Sambara, Julius, and Sandip. Introduction. Sunlight is a natural light source that has benefit and very important role for human to help the formation of vitamin D needed by bones. However, exposure to UV rays from the sun can have detrimental effect on human skin. Bougainville flower, Bougainvillea spectabilis will contains flavonoid and phenolic as antioxidant with an IC50 of 4.03 mg per milliliter. Based on the explanation that has been put forward, the researchers want to do the test activity sunscreen on the bougainville extract extraction using ethanol as solvent. The activity of bougainville extract sunscreen was seen for SPF, the presence of erythema transmission and pigmentation transmission. Objective, a general purpose. Now the sunscreen activity, the bougainville flower ethanol extract, Bougainvillea spectabilis will. Special purpose, measure the value SPF of bougainville flower ethanol extract. Measure the presence of the transmission value of erythema and transmission of pigmentation. Material and methods attached. Equipment and material attached. Method. Bougainville ethanol extract, phytochemical screening, identification, flavonoid, alkaloid, saponin, phenolic, preparation of test solution, determination of SPF value, determination of transmission value of erythema and pigmentation. Result bougainville powder was then extracting used the maceration method. The ethanol extract of bougainville obtained had a yield percentage 12.70%. Phytochemical screening was carried out to determine the presence of absence of compound contained in bougainville, such as flavonoid compound, alkaloid, saponin, tannin, and phenolic. SPF, ethanol extract of bougainville flowers. The ultra protection category is shown at concentration of 600 and 800 ppm, which is 20.715 and 64.367. Transmission value of erythema and pigmentation percent. Concentration of 200 and 400 was include the phase staining, means the sample has activities as a sunscreen, but the activity is weak. The sample showed activity as sunscreen with regular and 800 ppm in the extra protection category showed maximum sunscreen activity. Percent flame pigmentation transmission of bougainville, while at concentration of 400, 600, and 800 ppm, it was included in category of total block or sunblock, which means that extract had ability to complete protect UVA rays and cause pigmentation, indicate that higher concentration. Conclusion, bougainville extract ethanol has sunscreen activity. Bougainville ethanol extract contains flavonoid compound, alkaloid, flavonoid, tannin, and phenolic. Bougainville extract had SPF, fluoride at concentration 200, 500, 600, and 800 ppm. Presentation follows erythema transmission at concentration 200, 400, 600, and 800. 3.072% respectively. The present fluid of pigmentation transmission of concentration 800 were 30.128% respectively. Suggestion for further research to able to make a sunscreen formula for bougainville flower ethanol extract. Can do a fractionation with several solvents to get the ability as a sunscreen even better. Reference. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for the nice presentation. I have a query like why you have selected this particular flower? Have you made any study? Why you have selected dragon flower? Am I audible?
Selected better more 800 ppm because which was 30.129% concentration to pigmentation percent.
Okay, so according to the study, it is the best option. Is it the best option?
The best, yes, the best top 900. 800, sorry, 800% ppm.
Okay, thank you. Robert, sir, if you have any queries.
No questions from my part. We can move to the next presentation.
Any queries from the participant side?
I think no questions. So our next speaker is from Myanmar, and they are facing some Myanmar facing some power cut. Mr. Kokolat is online, so he is presenting. Mr. Kokolat.
Yes.
Yes, you are present now.
Yes, I will present, but my connection is stable, so I apologize for that. But I will try to present now. Yeah. Can I share my screen now?
Yes, please.
Can you see clearly the full screen?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
The PPT can see the slide shorter view.
Yes, and now
you
now
click on the full screen?
Yes, now I'm full screen or finished.
Oh, no.
What happened?
Yeah.
Now, okay.
No, you have not shared the screen, I think, desktop. You share only PPT so that we see the PPT. You share the desktop full. Desktop option you choose all.
Now see?
Yes, okay. Now go to next slide. Let us see.
Yes, good afternoon to all the professor and also all the PhD scholars. This is my topic, assessment of the empty pesticide container disposal and its effect on environment and human health. This is my main content. And also let's see the introductions. In Myanmar, pesticide imports increased during 10 years, 2021 to 2011, the importation increased. And also the volume of the pesticide MD Corina also increase year by year. This is also the main problems for human health and environment. In this literature review for this issue, in Bolivia, the long-term solution used to collection methods to collect the tens of the empty pesticide container. This might result the long-term solution to solve the environmental problems. Is that also the frequency of the pesticide application and improper disposal of pesticides by local farmers in China was found with the result of their health risks from pesticide use high or extremely high. Some methodologies, this overview in the paper. So the study based on the examination of the current information from the Myanmar and my departments to get the importation data of the pesticide amount, and also my experience from the market survey, and also the other my downloaded is my research report from the various international journals. Let's see the finding the Myanmar and other country experience. As you know, the farmers in Myanmar utilize a variety of pesticides and other chemical inputs, both legal and also illegal. Disposal of used pesticide corona is likewise in disarray. Pesticide used that is indiscriminate and injurious can result a variety of the health and environmental issues. Farmers in Myanmar do not have a designated storage area for their pesticide powder, despite the fact that they are frequent users. Farmer also did not properly dispose the used pesticide powder instead of throwing them around their crops carelessly. Most pesticide containers are spread throughout the field, and proper packaging management arrangement is an environmental issue. In Mexico, program aim is that pesticide management training must be implemented. Lack of the understanding among the farmer about the proper pesticide waste disposal technique highlight the need for the defined pesticide waste management policy. The aim to limit the potential environmental impacts of the wastes in Nigeria. Each individual use to dispose the empty pesticide corona, as you know, they throw them in the field and also collect and bury them or bury them in the ground. And also in Malaysia, the researchers discovered the improper pesticide waste disposal is associated with the current agricultural practice, especially to the among small-scale rice farmer in Malaysia. After applications, improper methods, including also the body disposal, this for the Vietnamese farmer. So the local governments and environmental management should devote more attention to resolve this issue. Mismanagement of the agrochemical waste is a major environmental issue in Sri Lanka, resulting in the pollution of the swine, air, and water resources, and risking the safety of the agricultural goods and also the environmental pollution and human health. Empty pesticide containers, swine and water sample, all contaminated significant concentration of various hazardous pesticides, raises the danger of the harmful pesticide exposure to living species, humans, and also the environment. Similar study looked at the pollution, also increase the hazards of the pesticide packaging waste in China. Many countries still lack container collection programs to solve the risk of the empty pesticide container. Container Brazil, Australia, Belgium, Germany, Australia, and Netherlands. They don't lack they don't collect the container collection programs. And also in US, the container recycling technique they use, and also the collection techniques especially in Canada also. For Myanmar, private companies, the agro ecosystem company, they serve the transportation and incineration and also landfill service for all the waste, the hazardous and also non-hazardous waste they serve. So the customer can prevent the risk of the illegal disposal and incorrect treatment by combining good waste management with the current traceability. From government sides, in pesticide borders, how to dispose it. We already announced instruction. Also, upon the pesticide border or label, instruction of the pesticide disposal can be found on the pesticide label in Myanmar. When dealing with the empty pesticide container, it is a responsibility as a pesticide handler to follow the instruction. Failure to follow the label instruction can result in incorrect disposal, putting your health and the health of others and the environment as risk in Myanmar. This main problem is infrastructure problems. Developing countries, most of the developing countries lack the necessary facility to conduct the research. There are insufficient laboratory facility to conduct the HHP analysis because all the pesticides are hazardous, especially the highly hazardous pesticides are main issues to eliminate for usage and also the storage and also importation. In addition, there is a lack of the secure storage and packaging for all HHP and HHP pesticides. Such are present. And also, Myanmar also left the infrastructure problems of the empty pesticide container management problems. Let's see the awareness problem. The many pesticide dealers employing the heavy and aggressive marketing methods to sell their product, claiming that farmers have no other option than to apply the chemical pesticides. Myanmar pesticide dealers also face awareness problems of the empty pesticide container management. There are no substantial stocks of the outdated pesticides in Myanmar, but the waste management also requires more attention to prevent, because as you know, the importation increase year by year, maybe the 10 times increase. In my conclusions, in developing countries such as Myanmar, agrochemicals are seen as a foreign reform on the major pollutant for increasing the agricultural output, while also improving significant public health indicators. It suggested that the immediate measure be taken to raise awareness about the encourage the disposal of pesticide packaging waste management system. Pesticide packaging waste management is a type of the green innovation aimed at preserving natural resources and adapting to and mitigating global climate change. With the parallels of increasing the utilization of pesticides, empty pesticide container after application cause a negative effect for human health and environment. We need to train the long-term condition for the chronic impact of people and environment. By using pesticide year by year, we need to overcome we need to get the knowledge to absorb from farmer, because the chronic problem is a big issue. Most of the farmer don't understand the chronic problems, although they don't understand the acute toxicity, because the acute toxicity means in a short time, maybe the 1 day, 2 days, 7 days, or 1 week, or 1 month. Also, they don't understand. So they do overcome this impact. We must find the long-term plan and also the chronic effects. Thank you for your kind intentions. may I invite any suggestions or comments and also questions?
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have one, not a query, but I just have some suggestion. Like in your presentation, if you would have included some kind of graphical representation, would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
You have just included some text because you are not showing any result. So if you have included some kind of graphical representation, like maybe country-wise or maybe different places from your country itself,
Yeah.
then it would have been more interesting. The presentation would have been more interesting. Yes, all is fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Robin, sir, if you have any queries, then.
Yes, sir. I have. Sir, according to your opinion, would you just
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I cannot clearly your voice because the voice is with the vibrate tone I hear. So the please can I check with the chat about for question or suggestion?
Sir, could you suggest one application for recycling this pesticide container?
Recycling container in Myanmar? In
recycling pesticide container.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Most of the developing country, I think, poor in pesticide recycling technique, because most of the farmers, including in Malaysia, most of the farmers throw the MD container after application in the field or in the ground as they wish, as they like. And also the Myanmar also trying to solve this recycling problem, because we focus just only the generalization. Also we focus, but we have less attention for recycling of the MD pesticide container. So the which method is the best to solve this problem? In Myanmar now we are using practically triple rinse technique. You know, the after application, don't throw the directly. We need farmer needs to rinse with water 3 times. 3 time rinse. Yes, 3 time rinse, because crop like Asia they recommend it by doing the triple rinse method. More than the 95% of the pesticide residue in container neglect minimize. Also, it's okay. By comparison with the direct disposal. Yes, thank you, sir.
Any questions from the audience side?
Sorry, sir. For me.
I think no more question is there. So thank you, Mr. Kokolat and Madam Dr. Tajashwini.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All the participants, please on your camera so that before we break, we take a photo. And I am on between, I'm showing the certificate of appreciation to our chairpersons of this session. Dr. Tejaswini Kaur, kindly accept the token of appreciation.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Robin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, please on your camera so that we can take picture. Okay, ready? Next screen, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you once again. So we are giving one break, and Dr. Taira, you are here. So next session, we are starting after 50 minutes. So you are chairing the session, Dr. Tahira from Pakistan, and Dr. Ashita will chair, and there will be eminent speaker from what you call Italy. So all of you should present, as she want to present directly. Yesterday she was busy. I told send recorded video, madam. So she not accept. She told 8 a.m. morning she will give lecture. So her time 8 a.m. but our time is now after 20 minutes. She will be online. She want to interact with the participant directly. She is a very good editor of journals, and so you please listen to her. Thank you. We are giving a short break. Please be join again after 40 minutes, 10 minutes before. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kokolat, your voice is mute. We cannot hear. You are talking, telling something, or?
Yes, yeah, sending it.